Agenda item 6B is receive a recommendation from the Kerrville Economic Development Task Force to restructure Kerrville's economic development program and take action on said recommendation.
All right. Our task force was assembled in early January, and there were 10 of us on our team. Our charge was to develop a new economic development structure that would be quantifiable, measurable, and accountable to citizens. Number one, we feel that all major stakeholders must be included in the process. We believe a new organization should be limited to 9 members. This is a change from the current KEDF board, which I think has 12 members on the executive board. Is that right, Guy? Yep. And 40 on the big board. And finally, the task force recognizes that past flaws in structure and accountability have disabled the possibility of progress, but we feel confident that under our proposed plan, that is going to change. So this is our new organizational structure. This will be the new KEDF. We've been calling this the organizational wheel. There will be 7 partners, which include from 11 o'clock the Chamber of Commerce, KISD, KPUB, CVB, EIC, the city, and the county. Each of these partners will elect their own representative. There will be 3-year staggered terms. Nobody in this board will serve more than 6 years. Funding, the sources would include the city, the county, KPUB, and EIC. EIC would continue to be the biggest investor. KEDF will then restructure to reflect the new organizational structure. We're trying to do that by April 30th.
What you wanted and what we wanted was exactly the same thing, change, not more of the same, and I think you've come up with that.
I just want to restate what my biggest issues have been, and it's the primary one is accountability to the taxpayer for the good stewardship of their taxpayer dollars. When you look at the contribution level, the total contribution for the city, including EIC, is $275,000 out of $350. That's 79% of the total funding. Yet the city only receives 2/9 of the votes. The governing board could be structured to have only 5 members. And the members would include the city, EIC, Chamber of Commerce, 1 business at large, and 1 county.
A board or commission or whatever that is not responsible to the citizens, it's difficult to justify that kind of money and not have a direct responsibility to the public.
This country has lost billions of dollars of net worth and trillions of dollars in credit availability, and we have got to hit the ground fast, or like you said, this is going to be a ghost town. The city and its affiliation with EIC and KPUB, they already have 3 of the 9 positions and 90-some-odd% of the funding. So the city, directly or indirectly, has a lot of control over the organization.
That are more users
let me
of the
ask you
data.
this, Mr. Coleman, how do you leave the biggest industry out with tourism? They're vital to what we are, and that's where our opportunity also lies. So how do you leave that part of the equation out? Then education. Do you leave KISD out? Education is part of where we need to be. I'm confused on who you're knocking out of the wheel.
I mean, it's kind of like that group of cats over there. You know, you're going to have to get them all together, and that's not necessarily going to be that easy.
I would say that this board will be like no other. It's not going to be a board where you just come to have coffee once a month. This will be a very active and responsible board.
I like the 9. I think y'all did a great job. I think y'all addressed the concerns that we had, the problems that we had. So I think the diversity is key. And I don't want to show bad faith to Mike or to the task force. We asked them to do this.
But I think the biggest challenge we had is funding. And that's why when you're looking at where you have the final say, council and EIC, is you have to approve that budget. If they don't come up with a fiscally responsible budget to the citizens, not just to us, to the citizens, it's not going to happen.
Trevor Hyde, 2801 Comanche Trace Drive. Y'all asked us, as a task force, as citizens, as taxpayers, as business leaders in this community. They came up with a great plan. And I mean, we talked about it, we spent hours, we all just like you volunteered our time to do that, you asked us to do it. You need to listen to citizens, to the taxpayers, and what this group came up with. This is what that group of people recommended at your request.
I'd like to make a motion. I recommend that we accept the Economic Development Task Force recommendation.
We asked for change, we got change, we can review it and change it again if we need to. I'll second that motion.
Council, any further discussion or comments? We have a motion and a second on the floor. All in favor of the motion? All opposed?
Yeah, no, I'll vote for it.
4. Motion carries 5-0.